morning, good afternoon, and good evening where we are. Welcome back to the channel. Now, I found this video that I thought was very interesting. Now, this video here, Earthbound Babe, says manosphere content influenced my ex-boyfriend. So let's listen to what she have to complain about this time because, well, hell, if it's not the usual obfuscation of responsibility.
Have y'all ever had a relationship fail because of the type of content that your boyfriend was watching? I just saw this girl, and I'm gonna tag her below, and she was talking about how she lost her boyfriend to red pill content. Well, I basically lost my boyfriend to manosphere content. And that was the beginning of the end. I didn't know it though. One day I came home. I was in my vanity room. Okay, I have a room just for myself with my clothes and my makeup. In that room, I have a TV. One day, my ex, he comes in my room where I'm decompressing, mind you. And he goes on my TV and he says, "Baby, I want you to watch this creator with me." Okay? And I said, "Oh, okay," because at this point, me and him had been together for about a good 3 years. So
Take a moment to realize that this is somebody who has a room she calls her vanity room. I think we have to stop pretending that these are deep people who understand some deep spirituality. No, these are vain people who like luxury. All she vanity rooms are really where she can go and take her drugs and do whatever else she wishes for. And it's really in the West where you'd have people who, instead of doing something that's important with their time and resources, they create selfish little distractions like vanity rooms. Give me a break.
I feel like when he was suggesting content to me, it's because he thought that I also might enjoy it. So I said, "Oh, okay, what type of content does he make?" And he says, "Well, he comes on his platform and he invites women on there and he basically argues with them." And I shit y'all not, the first question that came out of my mouth after he said that was, "Is he gay?" Because
Predictable. Every single time that you attempt to, you know, make women take accountability for their actions, you'll be called all sorts of names. Being gay is actually one of those things. And these same women, by the way, they'll tell you about how they support the alphabet community and all that. But the very first thing they will do every time they don't agree with a man or what he's saying is they refer to that as an insult. But you know, the hypocrisy does not cease. So immediately you can tell that the way the Godfather did speak, he did trigger women like this. You should first realize that she's a very overweight woman with a filter and a lot of makeup. But for some weird reason, she thinks she's this really high value woman. And that's the problem because there are so many stupid men that put such low quality females on a pedestal. That's the biggest problem.
in my mind, I don't know an actual real man who goes out about his way to argue with a woman just to tell her about herself. Because
No, that is really a terrible characterization of what Keritza was doing. That's just a fact. You can understand that, you see, the bad faith is from the beginning, but they do understand that he was doing it as content, that it was very popular content. He wasn't adding it. He was schooling them. Well, it might come off as argumentative, but that's what you do. Women always have to put you in a position to argue. So it is what it is. He made a huge damn. You guys can't stop talking about him after his death. You're still hurt by him because he touched a spot. He said the truth. And the truth right now is really triggering a lot of modern women, even a lot of so-called traditional women. Because they realize that the more men become smart about these kind of things, they will not have their way with these men. They would actually have to bring something to the table except their humongous guts and their bad attitudes.
in my reality, okay, that don't happen, right? I didn't grow up with men who were around me that did that type of shit. And the ones that did do that type of shit, they were gay. So that's why I asked that question. He starts to laugh and he's like, "Nah, he's not gay." It's just that he likes to debate. He likes to go back and forth with the women and tell them how they're wrong. And I was like, okay.
That is very basic, yes. Debating, it's time to come to an answer, trying to find the truth. That's one of the pillars of how we get to find a consensus without having to spill blood. So a Lincoln poop like this doesn't understand things like that. She doesn't understand that you have to argue things out so that chaos is kept at bay. Anyway, let's continue.
Okay, just go ahead and put it on. This motherfucker gonna put on Kevin Samuels. Mind you, I did not know who the hell he was at that point, and most people didn't know who he was at that point because he didn't blow up yet. He puts him on, and mind you, I'm just listening because I'm not watching. I'm taking off my makeup and shit. I'm hearing the content. I'm just like, I look at my ex at one point. I'm just like, can you take him off my TV, please? So my ex just starts to laugh, and he's like, oh, what, you don't like him? I'm like, hell no, I don't like him. And then I start to like question him, like, why the fuck would I like him? So
Is it, they think they're being so cool and so, are burned by using these curse words, but what really shows is their street nature. These are bottom feeders from the streets. Even the way they speak themselves, it shows that they are bottom feeders. So really, what they can really be important for his content. And as an example to show you how such high-calorie women would start to pretend they're these high-value women that men are chasing aloud. She is being chased by the bottom of the barrel. That is the truth, and she knows that.
So fast forward. Me and my ex get into an argument. So we get into this fight, and basically he asked me why I wouldn't do something, like, or why I wasn't like taking him serious or paying attention to him about some shit he was trying to say. I can't really remember, but I told him I cannot take you seriously because you don't pay any of my fucking bills. That's why I'm not taking shit that you're saying seriously. This motherfucker gonna say, this is why women end up alone. I say, what women do you know that are ending up alone? He was like, that's the
There are women all over the place that are ending up alone. Stop pretending, how they just say something like this with a straight face. It's because she thinks whatever comes out of her mouth means something. And the problem is, gentlemen, is that such females are the ones you've given too much arrogance because of your attention. These ones should be eating shit in the streets. But no, a lot of you had to start behaving like hungry mongrels who can't control themselves. That's why you have this attitude from somebody who looks like this. A morbidly obese person talking like she's Watson.
shit that I see when I'm watching those videos, because he started to watch just not only Kevin, but he was watching, other influencers who had the same type of content. So I told him, this is where I had to break it down for him a little bit. I had to hurt his feelings. I didn't really want to do it, but I'm just like, you getting out of fucking hand. Like, you really getting out of line. I was like, I don't know why someone like you is watching content from people like them. You, first of all, don't have the same money as them. You don't have the same lifestyle as them. You don't have the resources they have, and you don't have the platform they have. So why the fuck is someone like you being influenced by someone like that? You, a grown-ass man, almost into his 30s, because at this point he was like 29, 28 or something like that. Almost into his 30s, you're listening to another grown man. You don't have your own ideology set. You don't have your own morals and values to follow. You're letting somebody else that don't even fucking know that you exist influence you. And you're a grown-ass man. You try to say you're a grown-ass man.
That is all really I wanted to say in this video, because I was trying to find where this was coming to play. What she's trying to do is, first of all, attempt shaming the man that, who are you? Why are you listening to men who are better than you, who have more money than you, who've learned more things than you? Because that's how people learn, you nincompoop. That's how people learn. That's how you learn. All this nonsense you're spewing here, you learned from somebody. You are told if you spew this, you will get this kind of traction. You are told that, and you know that. And you're playing it. And why would somebody be so arrogant saying something so stupid? But why would you listen to another man, an older man, a more successful man than you, somebody who's done things before you had probably done them better? Why wouldn't you listen to them? This is basic knowledge. That's how humans have continued to develop. because we try to listen to the people with the best ideas and the best action and try to follow the example of people with the best action. But you see, if somebody like this, the entire reason she was trying to say all this to this person, first of all, I must tell you, I do find it a bit difficult to believe a lot of these people are liars and they're just doing things for the internet. So just for argument's sake, let's assume the gentleman exists. They're all existent. The only reason she was saying things like that is because she wanted to basically shame him, try to belittle him and the ideas as the people that he follows. Because really, when you can't make an argument for the argument, what you try to do is discredit the person giving the argument so you don't have to deal with it. And you see, that is typical female behavior. Because a lot of the times they come say such stupid nonsense and there still be some idiot somewhere patting on the back, like, and then they start walking around looking like hybrid walruses, thinking that they're all that. Gentlemen, such people are means. Please stop having children with means. Stop dating means. Stop even having casual sex with these means. These are means. And somebody who can reason like this, you can understand that they do not have your well-being as their best interest. You must understand that the only reason she's doing this is so that all these rats who follow her can regurgitate and come back, you know? And, you know, they live in that echo chamber and they can continue to pat themselves on the back. But in the end, most of them are just baby mamas that have been recycled, that are just cum buckets or some street dudes. That's what it is. Who doesn't know somebody like this being passed around? Because that's really all they're good for. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know whether you liked what I said or I don't know what you thought about what this person was talking about. What are your ideas on the same? Please leave your comments below. And again, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share with those who would like to listen to this message. Until next time, please.